Studio microphone long speech on the Tunguska event, the day the sky exploded. Ladies and gentlemen, today, I invite you on a journey, not into fantasy, not into fiction, but into the very heart of one of the greatest cosmic mysteries in modern history. An event that shook the earth, flattened forests the size of major cities, and lit up the skies across Europe and Asia, yet left behind no crater. This, my friends, is the story of the Tunguska event, the day the sky exploded. It was the morning of June 30, 1908, a calm, quiet summer day in the vast, desolate wilderness of Siberia, near the Podkamennaya Tunguska River. This remote part of Russia was sparsely populated, dense forests, taiga, and isolated nomadic tribes. No one suspected that, within moments, the heavens above would unleash an explosion so powerful that it would rival the might of modern nuclear bombs. Milky Way. The explosion, at approximately 7:17 a.m. local time, eyewitnesses, mostly Evenki natives and Russian settlers, reported seeing a blinding blue-white light streak across the sky. It was brighter than the sun, trailing fire, and leaving a trail of smoke. Then, without warning, boom, a colossal explosion shattered the morning silence, the force equivalent to 10 to 15 megatons of TNT, nearly 1,000 times the power of the atomic bomb dropped on Hiroshima. The shockwave was felt hundreds of kilometers away. People were thrown off their feet. Windows shattered. Horses panicked. In the city of Irkutsk, over 900 kilometers away, seismic instruments recorded massive tremors. In Europe, barometers spiked. Across Scandinavia, Germany, and even Britain, strange lights were seen in the night sky. The skies glowed with a mysterious brightness. Londoners could read newspapers at midnight without artificial light. But in the epicenter, an area near the Tunguska River, over 80 million trees were flattened like matchsticks, in a radial pattern stretching 2,150 square kilometers. It was as if nature had been swept away by the hand of a vengeful god. And yet, there was no impact crater. Compass the aftermath. Despite its immense size and power, the Tunguska event remained largely ignored by the outside world for many years. Why? Because of the region's remoteness, and because the Russian Empire was dealing with war, political unrest, and eventual revolution. It wasn't until 1927, nearly 19 years later, that the first scientific expedition, led by Russian mineralogist Leonid Kulik, reached the blast zone. What he found was utter devastation: charred trees standing like blackened poles, a vast area of flattened forest, and no sign of a crater or any meteorite fragments. Kulik's team was shocked. The damage was clear. The energy was immense. But where was the object that caused it? What exploded, and how? Flying saucer theories and mysteries. For over a century, scientists, researchers, and conspiracy theorists have debated the cause of the Tunguska event. Comet Theory 1. Comet or meteor airburst. The most widely accepted theory today is that a space object, likely a comet or stony meteor, between 50 to 100 meters wide, entered Earth's atmosphere at high speed, around 27,000 kilometers per hour, and exploded midair, between 5 to 10 kilometers above the ground. This explosion, called an airburst, released its energy without leaving a crater. The heat incinerated forests directly below. The shockwave flattened everything for miles. Because comets are made largely of ice and dust, they could vaporize entirely during the explosion, leaving behind no solid fragments, explaining the absence of a crater. But even with this explanation, questions remain. Alien Theory 2. UFO or alien explosion. Among fringe theorists and UFO enthusiasts, the Tunguska explosion is often claimed to be a failed alien spacecraft, or even a deliberate extraterrestrial intervention to save Earth from a larger cosmic body. Some even say it was a warning. In 2004, Russian scientist Yuri Lavbin claimed to have found quartz rocks in the area engraved with mysterious markings, suggesting alien intelligence. Of course, the scientific community largely rejects these claims, but it adds to the Tunguska legend. Crystal Ball Theory 3. Nikola Tesla's death ray. Another popular myth links the Tunguska explosion to Nikola Tesla's wireless energy experiments. In 1908, Tesla was reportedly testing his Wardenclyffe tower, and some believe he inadvertently created a focused beam of energy that reached Siberia and caused the destruction. There's no evidence to support this, but it remains a part of the legend. Volcano Theory 4. Underground volcanic explosion or gas eruption. Some Russian geologists have proposed that a massive underground gas explosion, perhaps methane released from permafrost, caused the blast. However, this doesn't explain the aerial eyewitness accounts or the atmospheric effects across the globe. Global impact. The Tunguska event wasn't just a Siberian mystery, It was a global wake-up call. Across Europe, scientists began to take the threat of asteroid impact seriously. It was the first time humanity saw, with terrifying clarity, how vulnerable we are to cosmic forces. In the decades that followed, the event inspired countless studies, books, films, and disaster preparedness programs. Today, global space agencies like NASA and ESA actively track near-Earth objects (NEOs) partly because of what happened at Tunguska. Imagine, for a moment, if that explosion had occurred over Paris, Berlin, or London. The devastation would have been apocalyptic. Telescope modern investigations. With modern satellite imaging and computer modeling, we've recreated the blast patterns, analyzed soil samples, and even examined tree growth rings to understand the event's timing and intensity. In 2013, a similar airburst occurred over Chelyabinsk, Russia, injuring over 1,000 people when a 20-meter meteor exploded above the city. It was like a modern-day Tunguska, and reminded the world that these events are not just history but ongoing threats. Brain the final thought. More than a century has passed since the Tunguska explosion, yet the mystery still looms. In a world filled with technology, satellites, and nuclear weapons, it took a natural cosmic event in the 20th century to remind us of our fragility beneath the stars. We look to the skies for inspiration, for exploration, and for hope. But sometimes, the skies look back, and remind us just how powerful and unpredictable the universe truly is. So next time you gaze at the night sky, remember that on one summer morning in 1908, the sky fell, and the earth trembled. Clapperboard, thank you for joining this deep dive into the Tunguska event, one of the greatest unsolved space mysteries on Earth. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more mysterious and historical stories from the edge of the unknown.